Hello gamers and welcome to Burden of Command, a new tactical leadership RPG. And yeah, we're going to start now. I did a short prologue introducing the people who worked on the game a little bit. And let's take a quick look at the user interface, at the settings. What we can do here is unit bases, show the base under each unit. Hex grid, let's leave it off because it's by default switched off. Auto end, I don't want that. Sound, you can change that as well for the various categories, and resolution and stuff can be changed as well. Here you can actually, what I mentioned in the prologue, lots of the photos have been colorized, but you can also go for the period look as well. And yeah, let's start the campaign with the it's a Cotton Balers campaign, and here we go. Now we have a choice for the difficulty, which I think is pretty good. We can just focus on the story. You want to immerse yourself in your narrative and the lives of a man with less emphasis on tactical challenges. Your Cotton Balers start with an extra 100 XP and 100 Trust. Good pick for a player who rarely plays tactical games. You value equally both tactical play and narrative, which is the case for me. Intended for players who are familiar with strategy and tactics games, including tactical RPGs. I like these kinds of games, so this is most likely going to be the setting for me. And then there's a tactical focus. While you want the narrative, you are engaged by a strong tactical challenge. After bootcamp, your enemies will all have plus 100 XP and Trust compared to Bolster. Note that your primary tactical challenge will still not come till you meet the Germans. Intended for more hardcore strategy players or grognards, value mastering a nuanced tactical system. I don't have the time to dive super deep into like any game because there's so many good games in so limited time. You know, with work, sports, family, and stuff. Time is also limited. So this is a good setting for me, I think. And personally, I also usually want to see how does a game work at the intended standard difficulty. And yeah, you know, some games like Civilization then cheat a lot, and yeah, I'm not a fan of that. So here we go with Balanced. Here we can see lots of the nice art style. It almost looks like a photo. September 1942, Virginia, United States. Warning! This campaign occasionally shows disturbing images of graphic violence intended to convey the true burden of war. If this is not a fit for you, then please consider refunding the game now. I think that's a very just warning, and I actually appreciate that it's included in the game, both the warning but also the graphical content. It's a unique approach for sure. Anyway, press any number key to continue. Yes. Go.
Hello, this is Luke Hughes, lead designer for Burden of Command, and I'm breaking through the fourth wall today, ouch, to thank you. Thank you for taking a risk on something new, a leadership RPG. Now I imagine you're here hoping to test your mettle as a leader, emotionally, morally, tactically, in World War II. For us to give you that experience, it means a risk for you. What's the risk? Well, a new approach obviously requires a learning curve, and we all know learning curves can produce confusion, hell, even frustration, and playtesting has shown that there is a learning curve for Burden. Two kinds. The easier part, where you learn new mechanics, not tried before, and then the much harder ones, where we break some of your likely pretty ingrained assumptions about how, for example, repeated shooting will kill an enemy unit. We instead do something called the 4Fs, which we'll get into later. The point is, I'm going to be breaking in occasionally here to help you with video demonstrations, along with some design explanations about why we break these conventions. But remember, it's all to give you a credible leadership role-playing experience. And hey, we know these fourth wall break-ins may be jarring at times, but extensive playtesting has shown these videos can really help your journey. So please, keep an open mind And hey, cotton baler, good luck out there.
Okay, this is actually really cool that new approach. I've never seen anything like that, where the designer actually talks to you. I think that's pretty nice. And I know that Sid Meier inserted himself into Civilization 1, I think as the advisor or the guy where you choose the text at that screen, something like that. But yeah, here we go. That First Mile, 24th September 1942, Camp Pickett, Virginia. I can hear a bird, I'm not sure if you can hear it. Yeah. Commence, yeah, a bird in game, I mean. Commence my journey or tell me a little about this game. We can also repeat the video. Oh, and this indicates this image has an explanatory or historical caption, like that shown at bottom left. However, for your convenience, you may mouse anywhere over the image to invoke, not just over this icon. That's actually pretty cool. Blackwater Canyon in Autumn. Image courtesy of Forest Wonder. Tell me a little about this game. Hello and welcome to Burden of Command. You are about to embark upon the odyssey of the cotton balers of the US 7th Infantry Regiment amid World War II. We hope you will find this to be an immersive tactical leadership experience. The history behind fiction has many sources, but foremost of this is American Courage, American Carnage by John McManus. Writing and interviews were the inspiration that put this project into motion. A reprinting of his book is set to release in April 2025. Play the game, read the history, compare. Commence my journey or tell me about other sources. And here, what's cool, that here you actually have a reference to the game, the book that inspired the immersive Burden of Command video game. And I think I read that for printing issues in the ebook, it's like on the front, and in the paperback or hard copy, it's on the rear. Our inspiration for the saga of cotton balers arose from the detailed writing and interviews found in American Courage, American Carnage by John C. McManus. He became a senior advisor on this project, and his help has proven invaluable. By all means, read his books, but recognize that there will be spoilers in there for the game you are about to play. Tell me more about other sources. Well, I can't list those here. The list is too long to enter here, but some sources will be in the credits and others in the Bokopedia. By the way, I read in a press statement or the newsletter that there's like a 500,000 words, lots of text in this game. Suffice to say, we utilized numerous books, archives, collections, and sites to put this together, and that was just the historical side. There's original music, assembled a breadth of photography, including colorized war and period photos. Well-researched art and sound effects will likewise be found during the course of play. Who put this together? Green Tree Games is the small indie group that put Burden of Command together, which is to say it was largely Luke Hughes who kept all our ducks from wandering off. He's responsible for much of the coding, media, craft, and focus. John Strong did a great deal of coding. Steve Overton and Hank Stoffers handled the scenarios. Alan Gies and Paul Wang wrote the fiction and coded many of the events. Marius Kosick painted the characters and portraits. Sergei Averkin labored upon all the other art. Both big and small, Steve Law managed legal matters and kept us on the road. There are also many others. Please see the credits for details. We did that already in the prologue. In case you haven't watched it yet, you can go back and take a look. Anywhere? 24th September 1942, Camp Pickett, Virginia. Morning dew dribbles down the bright leaves of the forest. Ahead, Platoon Sergeant Bennett leads the way beneath the canopy. That should be the hill, he notes, and gestures towards the rise of the east, to the east. Bit of a walk, but we are close. On his back is slung the standard issue American M1 rifle, a near twin to your own. You said that 10 miles ago, Sergeant? I should take another compass bearing. It sounds like he knows where he's going. Well, he's the leader. In September 1939, the US Army had ranked 17th in the world in size and combat power just behind Romania. That's not very impressive, actually. Atkinson Rick, An Army at Dawn, The War in North Africa, 1942-43. That's cool. So you get lots of references here as well. So what shall we say? You said that 10 miles ago. I should take another compass bearing, or it sounds like he knows where he's going. He's the platoon sergeant, and we have no reason to doubt him, so let's say this. There's no reason to second guess him. If a man can't admit he's wrong when he's definitely wrong, then he's not much of a leader. Sergeant Bennett has been in the army since before the big draft in 40. He knows his way around. Oh, we're kind of creating our character here, maybe. That's a World War II era comp. How cool is that? Doesn't look much different to today's compasses, to be honest. And by the way, I'm in the Home Defense Army. We don't get a compass by default. You have to bring your own. That task had started with the 16 million men who registered for the draft in the fall of 1940 and who would expand regular Army and National Guard divisions. 16 million, wow. Okay, he knows his way, and I've been with the Army for a while too. Background set to regular Army, prestige +1. Prestige is how much influence you have with your superiors after a scenario is over. And I'm a recently commissioned lieutenant. Background set to 90-day wonder, trust +10%, +10. Trust is how well your men react to your orders within a scenario. 10 trust is worth approximately 1 prestige or loyalty. And I'm a reservist returning to the army. Loyalty +1. Background set to reservist. Loyalty is how much influence you have over the men after scenarios. What shall I choose? Already you can see this is RPG style. And it reminds me a bit of Jagged Alliance, where you create your own character. Answering questions. I think I do want to say I'm a reservist, because it kind of fits. I've not been with the army. Recently commissioned, we could do that as well. Orders within a scenario sounds very helpful to me, that they trust us more. But loyalty is also cool. Let's go for that. You know your former trade. Though it did take a few months to blow the rust off and fight off the civilian pounds. It's good that you had time to do that, because the Germans and Japanese seem determined to light the world on fire. The US has yet to send many divisions overseas, but you know it is only a matter of time. I really like the general look of the game, by the way. This is like a notebook style kind of, and it's nicely together. I like all these additional stuff. I actually wrote a PhD, and I have lots of footnotes. Some of them are a bit extensive. 1940 US Army propaganda poster, notable for the old style of helmets. Although Arcadia Conference had confirmed Germany as the principal foe, as both wished, there was no plan to ensure that forces would be deployed against Germany, other than the movement of 3 divisions to Northern Ireland and a vague agreement to land in North Africa. Time to move. So here I am in boot camp.
So here I am in boot camp somewhere in Virginia, 1942, just like you will be soon. I'm going to start with our first concept that will be familiar and unfamiliar, your first learning curve aspect. So, like games like XCOM and frankly many tactical games these days, we use action points. We call them orders, and they have the green dots. So this leader has 4 action points. And no surprise, when he say moves, he spends an action point, which you can see happening there.
The US Army will go to war in earnest soon. As an officer, your duty will be to lead the men of your platoon. You just have to find them first. Mouse over the book icons for history or image notes. Good that it's repeated, actually. Sometimes people don't read, but I guess wargamers usually read everything. Left click to select the leader. Then right click to move the leader. The WASD key will move the camera. Use the scroll wheel to zoom in or out. Not terribly useful right now, but it will be eventually. I can imagine that it will. I already love the art style, kind of like a watercolor a bit look. Not sure. Art expert, but it looks good. So let's click that. And we are supposed to move here. So we have 4. Fresh order may be expanded by a leader to activate unit or take action. Leader can, so we can do lots of stuff actually. Let's go here. This leader just expanded an order. Gray sphere indicates that an order was spent. That indicates how. Closer now. Hills and mountains are always further than they seem. Gray circle that you saw float up indicated the expenditure of an order. Burden of command runs on orders. That's a really cool system. I like that. There's one of my favorite 4X games is Old World, and it's an order system as well. Every unit has some, and you can't do anything but get shot and get out one. Orders are spent to move a unit. You can usually move a unit multiple times. Also quite important. Here we see it's great out, spend it. And with a leader, we can actually turn it back into a fresh action. That's also a note. Now we need to click him and move him. Leader moving alone is quite fast and vulnerable. The pathing is automatic. I'm not sure if we could theoretically change that. White highlighted hexes indicate where you can move. Light colored hexes indicate what you can see. White highlighted hexes are where a unit can move. Light hexes are what you can see. Everything else is currently inaccessible mystery. It's a good view. Good enough to see a few stragglers from your first platoon. Looks like the kitchen patrol is still on their way to the obstacle course. Sergeant Bennett notes. And if we let them dock things, they'll never get there before dinner. Allow them to move up. No change to verbosity. Verbosity is one of 3 character traits. It reflects how much a leader likes to talk. Verbosity does not impact the tactical battlefield, but may add personalization to conversations. That's so cool. Yell down at those men. Verbosity +1. Verbosity is one of the 3. Yeah. Wave them forward. Verbosity -1. It reflects how much a leader likes to talk. Verbosity does not impact the tactical battlefield. Yeah. I think waving is enough. On the battlefield, you have to, give signals by hand often anyway. And I think it's pretty cool to just wave them.
This is a leadership RPG. We're always going to be focused on bringing out leadership aspects. In the Army, leaders are in charge of platoons, which is a group of squads or companies. And so there's a command structure, and we do that too. This is a squad here, part of my rifle platoon. For it to do something, I've got to order it. Or, if you want to make it simpler, activate it. So, did you see an order came up on me? Not just the squad. The squad paid its action point, but I'm just going to say order from now on. But I paid an order because effectively I ordered the squad.
That is very interesting. These 2 green circles indicate 2 remaining orders. Wave them forward and, conditioned by training, they obey. The squad must be activated to utilize their own orders. A leader will spend an order to activate a squad when that squad initially shoots, moves, etc. Once the squad has been activated, they have enough direction that they can then expand 2 or even 3 orders without requiring a further leader order for the rest of the round. Okay, that's good. So we've got 4. We've got 4 orders, so we could activate theoretically 4 squads and not move. Also activate 3 and move. Left click the squad. Right click to move the squad. Units can move independently of leaders. Though this is not always preferable, it is necessary since the leader can't be everywhere. For itself will consume 1 order to action. The squads move slower, that means we can actually, stationary with the leader for 1 turn and then in the next turn move up. When a squad first activates in a round, the leader must expend an order. After that, the squad can use its orders without additional cost. If it expands an order, create a squad for the first time during a turn, but after that, the squad requires no more orders from its leader. Shoot or assault. We will get to more of that later. Call for double time, Lieutenant, Sergeant Bennett asks.
This squad has been activated. The leader no longer needs to pay an order to activate it. So let's move it, and you'll see no action from the leader. He didn't spend another order.
One of the squad's green available orders became gray as a spent order. Order the squad to move again. This time it won't cost the leader an order because the squad was already activated this turn. Okay. Let's group with the leader. When a unit is out of orders, it is spent and can't do much until a new turn comes around. We'll cover that soon enough. If it seems as though you are running out of map, remember that the WASD keys move the camera and the scroll wheels in and out. Also good that this is being repeated. Also good that we have some actual like historic images. Engineers here. That's cool. We can go for everything. Nice. Okay, let's go.
So I'm going to come down there, join my squad, lead, grab them both, and go somewhere. Now this time, they'll both pay an order. But be careful, it's not an activation order. They're both moving. You don't get a free ride. You got to pay for the move too. So, there you go. We're similar to games you're used to. Action points. But in this case, they're really orders, and they involve things like squad activation.
Here they are. Sergeant Bennett notes as Sergeant Layton, no relation, and his kitchen patrol reach the summit. Layton, can you see the obstacle course from here? Breathless, Sergeant Layton nods in the affirmative. His fellow spud peelers are all but ready to drop. Really, they can't go very far with us. If only they were in better shape. They are not part of the coming exercise. Say this. The leader has expended 3 of its orders. Only 1 order remains green and is therefore available. Leader with a single order often has difficult choices to make, but not right now. From this height, you can also see a little stream whose serpentine channel marks the bounds of your own training. The stream isn't far, which is a good thing. The stream, like other terrain codes, costs more movement points to cross than flat, open land. You won't always be able to get somewhere in a single order, especially with a squad in tow. One last push should put your boots beside the stream. Spent, perhaps, but in position nonetheless. However, first you will have to detach from Layton's squad. Camp Edwards, Massachusetts. an 8-foot wall obstacle at the anti-aircraft training center. The ropes are intended to be used only by the shorter soldiers. Image courtesy of the US Army Signal Corps. First left click of a hex selects both units in it. A second left click of either a leader portrait or the squad below will select only that unit. Do not follow Luke's example in the video and instead rebel and left click the leader portrait repeatedly until only the leader is highlighted. See the selected portrait or unit be encircled by a pulsing ring. All 4 units are in the same platoon, as indicated by the dotted regions. The solid circle indicates which unit is currently selected. Leader selected. Unit selected. Both leader and leader selected. Because there's a frame here as well. Left click the leader portrait repeatedly until only the leader is selected. I think this is the case now. Right click here and move only the leader here. Just lieutenant unnamed. It's cool that there's a question.
It would have been simplest to design the game as 1 unit per hex, like many games do. But frankly, it just felt wrong not to have leaders in with their men leading them. So we committed to simple stacking. 1 leader, 1 squad per hex. So then how do you manage selection? It's simple. Click any unit in the hex, both select, because you probably want to move both of them normally. But maybe you just want to move the leader this time. Click again. And here I am. So I'll do the same thing again. I'll click the squad, and I go back and forth between just the squad and both.
Unit selection is important. You want to be able to separate squads from leaders and stack them back up again when needed. Image is a poster that comes courtesy of the Office for Emergency Management, Office of War Information, Domestic Operations Branch, Bureau of Special Services. Down by the stream. Let's take a breather, Sergeant Bennett suggests, but we are almost there. At this point, your leader should be out of orders. 3 to move your leader, 1 to activate the KP squad. The KP squad itself moved twice, the normal amount for a green rifle squad. Orders refresh at the start of a new game turn. Out of orders means we can't do anything. What if I didn't move that squad? Veteran squads have more orders. Veteran squads or special combat units might have 3 orders instead of 2. Veteran officers might have 5 orders instead of 4. Let's leave that for later. Everything important in Burden of Command costs an order. Want to move a leader? An order. Want to move a squad? The leader pays an order. Activate the squad. Then the squad expends its own orders to take actions. Shooting or assaulting. We'll get to those, but yep, an order. Since there are currently no enemy units around, just pass the round until the game turn begins. End the turn. The forest thins. At least you spy a hint of civilization. A little wooden bridge that crosses gully and a low wooden wall beyond it. Clearing should be just up ahead. Lieutenant, Bennett calls back to you. Movement order can span a single hex or 4, but the order cost remains the same. Your leader here. It costs an order. Sometimes you will want to get most of that single order, and sometimes you will want to be cautious. Other times the terrain will simply restrict movement. Here we go. The assembly point is a simple one marked by a low retaining wall striped with white. At the side of it, Sergeant Bennett flashes you a grin and stashes the map. There's a figure waiting in the lee of that wall, a fellow officer with the silver bars of a captain upon his collar and the dreaded clipboard in hand. You're nearly late, Lieutenant. The field umpire notes as he regards you. Pencil in his grasp has doomed plenty of officers to obscurity with a swift judgment. Field umpire with dreaded clipboard. This image was taken during the field maneuvers of the 3rd Army in Louisiana, 1942, courtesy of the US Army. No excuse, sir? Well, I'm only nearly late, so I'm actually not late. Salute or not to him. So he is field umpire, so let's salute. Modern warfare makes it essential that personnel of all grades have the ability to read maps and aerial photographs. Detailed study of maps assists higher level commanders in arriving at their tactical decisions. Elementary map and aerial photograph reading. Sergeant Bennett gives a firm warning cuff, but it comes too late. The field umpire shakes his head slightly. When out in the field, such gestures are apt to attract snipers. Oh, that's actually true. Because the thing is, I didn't expect this to be like a proper exercise, but apparently it is. Because if you salute, then the other person or the sniper will know that you only salute to your superiors, to your officers, and that means they will shoot them. It's actually part of training as well, and when you salute to an officer, in a training situation you will be told off, and no one will be shot because it's only training, but you will be told off. But if you don't salute in a non-training situation, you're also told off. But in the German army, at least, the soldier is expected to salute to the officer, but the officer has to apply the salute. Thank you for the clarification. Thank you for the clarification, sir. That's sarcasm. Sarcasm notes how sharp-tongued the character is. Sarcasm does not have any impact on the tactical scenario. Remain silent as is proper. No change of sarcasm. An officer does not have to be sarcastic or stoic. He's certainly setting the tone here. A lack of sarcasm lends a firm and affable manner to a character. Being affable does not have any impact. Let's remain silent. Today you will undertake a leadership exercise consisting of no less than 3 separate field problems, the umpire says. You and your men will be assessed based on outcomes including both objectives achieved and casualties sustained. You will take command of your rifle squad and we will proceed. Any questions? Oh, and by the way, in the German army, there's like a test where you have to learn how to salute correctly and, pacing and whatnot and report and stuff. And only once you've done that, you're entitled to wear the uniform outside the barracks. Like a test you have to pass. And but you can only wear the uniform under certain circumstances, like for example, if you're getting from home to the barracks, you can usually, but you need it has to be ordered, but then you can usually wear the uniform as already or on your way home. And if you're in the regular army, you can apply for train tickets, and you get train tickets for free, but you have to travel in uniform. And actually, in some parts in Germany, it's recommended to not travel in uniform because there are too many extremists, like left-wing extremists and so on. So it's a bit sad. Today you will undertake a leadership... Okay, we did that. Is this a live fire exercise? Where's my rifle squad? What's the mission for this field problem? No questions, mentally review what I need to do. What's the mission for this field problem? We'll get to that shortly, the field umpire says. They like their surprises, Sergeant Bennett remarks softly. This is a live fire exercise? No, the field umpire says. There may be the occasional live round fired safely for effect, but otherwise no unit is in possession of live rounds. Budget constraints, Sergeant Bennett remarks softly by your side. Where's my rifle squad? Over there, the umpire says and waves a hand across the field. They should not be hard to find. Where's the rest of my platoon? Sergeant Grant is bringing them forward after they complete the obstacle course, the field umpire says. For now, you will command a single squad of your platoon. So often, like in Germany, at least the platoon has like 3 squads, and then there's like someone attached to the platoon leader as well. Sergeant Grant isn't a fellow to be late, I'm sure of it, Sergeant Bennett says to you quietly. There's every reason to be hopeful. Bennett is the platoon sergeant, and Grant, what the Army currently calls the platoon guide, as his confidant. 2nd Corps Provisional Anti-Tank Battalion, commanded by Major H.R. Johnson, Company D, 109th Infantry, shown here firing 81mm mortar. That's everything. Sergeant Bennett. This particular photograph shows a sergeant of the Special Service Forces at Anzio, Italy, 20th April 1944. That's everything. Mentally review what comes next. We just need to find the squad, Sergeant Bennett says. Doubt we'll need more than a few waypoints on the map. Figure out where they are. Lead the way. This path may use the fewest movement points, but it doesn't utilize terrain. Waypoints are vital to using terrain to your advantage. The route that uses the least movement points is not always the best one. That's actually my question from before. But this is an exercise. Control right-click to establish waypoints and stick to covering terrain when possible. Waypoints are vital. Okay. That in mind, you lead the way. The mission. Finish the exercise before turn 4. Try not to get anyone killed. Don't get anyone killed. The man, that's what the mission says, that's what the men say. So we need to get here. Left click to select all units in the hex. Control right click a hex to set a waypoint. One order may move a unit many hexes. This reminder may seem repetitive, and it is, but moving units, especially through mixed terrain, infantryman's lot. The more difficult the march, the tougher the fight at the end. Click your leader and move to his squad. Okay. How do I right click again? I do. Okay, there we go. Well done, Lieutenant. The umpire notes. You've avoided a sniper call. Most officers have proven blind to that. Our squad looks beat, Sergeant Bennett says. It's true. By all appearances, they can't possibly take another step. Some might say their morale is low. Right now, it is dog-dick low. Like they've been suppressed by enemy fire, but they don't have to stay that way. Don't they? Do they, Lieutenant? What do you suggest? Sergeant? I could give directness. It's interesting that, we also know what the effect will be. A bit like in Old World, you also know what the effect of your answers or decisions will be. I'm curious to see if you will see that after the training as well. Or if you can actually deactivate it. I think you can't, because I haven't seen the options. Directness -1. Directness is one of the 3 character traits. It reflects the approach of a leader to problems, subtle or otherwise. Directness does not impact. What would you suggest, Sergeant? I could give them a speed. That's talking. They will obey my commands. Also directness. Consider kicking them into shape. less talking. Let's say I could give them a speech, like a motivational speech, I think would be good. They're beaten down, kicking them into shape. No. Could, Lieutenant Sergeant Bennett says. It might even work if you lead them forward afterward. Either way, I'll kick a little ass on the slackers. Morale is central. Good morale, firefights 50-50, you win. Full orders, normal, you will pass most morale checks. Moderate morale, shaken. Firefights, enemy likely to win. Orders, movement reduced towards the end. Fail most morale checks. So basically this also means they're kind of already almost out of, battle worthiness. Bad morale, cowering. Enemy fights, firefights, enemies will win. One order, no movement towards the enemy, and we fail morale checks.
Thank you, Sergeant Bennett. Sergeant Bennett is reminding me I need to teach you about the backbone of your company's performance. It's morale. So here we have a good order squad. It's green, no suppression, has 2 orders, moves about 3 hexes, tries to move under fire, pass the morale check to do that, about 70%. And if it fires at an enemy, 50-50. Now notice those initiative wheels, donuts I like to call them. You really want to win initiative, because if you win initiative, you fire first, you suppress the enemy, reduce their morale, and then their fire back will be weak. Now let's look by contrast at this shaken company. It's yellow, it's lost about half its morale to suppression. First thing to notice, subtly, is it only moves 2 squares forward. It can still retreat because they're more cautious, because they're shaken. Also, let's notice one more thing, only 1 order. So the morale is actually reduced the total quantity of actions you can give this squad. Pretty bad. And guess, if you fire them, not going to go so well. You're going to lose. And the morale checks, unlikely. Finally, let's look at these poor guys. About 9 points of suppression. They're red. They're basically cowering. They won't even move forward. Though you can still move them back to get rallied, maybe behind a hill or in some cover. I wouldn't bother trying to fire. Not going to work. And you can give up on assault. Now, friend, let's have a little fun here. This is a 3-star unit. Very experienced. What do you notice? It's got 3 orders, not 2. That's a big win. And guess how it's going to do in firefights? Very well. And guess how it's going to do on morale checks? Hey, it doesn't even have to pass a morale check to move under fire. Work hard, Captain. Maybe you'll have units like this eventually.
That's really cool. Well. Okay, morale. Rally will remove suppression. It will also expand all of the squads, not the leader's remaining orders. Time to rally. Rally a unit must not have expended any orders during the turn. It must be fresh. Rallying requires a fresh squad. A fresh squad, no suppression. This squad has expended an order. It is no longer fresh. This squad has merely lost an order to suppression. It is still fresh. But we can't tell the difference, can we? Ah, no, we can, because this is yellow. And this is green. I see. This squad has expended all orders. It is spent. Fresh status is only determined by whether or not the squad has expended an order yet. Orders lost to suppression don't count. Orders expended, any other reason, do. The men want guidance and leadership. That's why you're here with them. Most leaders must be grouped up with a squad to utilize certain orders. The captain would be an exception to that. Do not worry about this right now, because all you have is a single lieutenant. Select the leader, then rally the leader and the squad. This consumes 1 leader order to activate the squad and all squad orders to rally. Select the leader. Rallying a squad will remove suppression. Click rally, and let's rally them. You can see what's going to happen. That's actually really good. Do I have to right click? I do. That speech did the trick, Sergeant Bennett says. Once we are organized, we can get on with the exercise. The field umpire makes a little note on his clipboard. Men will be ready, but the question is ready for what? Our purpose in assembling both umpires and unit commanders here this morning is threefold. First, I want all of you to meet each other. Second, I want to reiterate the tactical doctrines of this division, that commanders will enter the forthcoming maneuvers with our desires clear in their minds, and so that the umpires will know what we are trying to do. Patent papers. What is out of order? The men will be ready, but the question is ready for what? The squad is out of order. Some choices are merely informative, have no overt effect on gameplay. I have rallied. When can I move? Should I have moved the squad first? I have rallied. When can I move? Unit has no available orders. It is spent. Next turn, its orders will refresh. Then it can use those orders to move, and one order can move it multiple hexes. This sort of sequencing is important. Ebb and flow of battle. Proceed with the exercise. It is enough that the men are on their feet. If the enemy doesn't interrupt, men will be ready to move shortly. Indicate as much to the umpire. Holds up a white flag for his opposite number across the field C. Wave of blue flags are exchanged. The exercise will shortly resume. So long as either side has a leader with an order, the turn won't end. Unless both sides pass their round without spending any orders. Green dot, order available, gray dot, order expended. At a glance, green is good, yellow suggests caution, red means something is dangerous. Any solid square, morale point. Empty gray square, suppression. Red cost square, stress. Every morale point, 10% effectiveness, 12 morale, 100. Morale, 30%.
Anyone got a light?
End the round repeatedly to end this turn. Each game turn is broken up into alternating rounds. When both sides pass their round without action, the turn will end. This will be covered in detail later. Shortcut to end a round is the spacebar. Game saved. Good. End the round one more time to end the turn. The reason you have to end the turn twice is to ensure that if you had all other orders to give, could give those. You're ready. The men are ready. The enemy is likely ready. The enemy had a round to activate units, but did nothing with it. Samuel Shrewsbury's senior house in Bell, West Virginia. Pretty beautiful. Very British. Interesting that the enemy did nothing in response. Maybe we have surprises on our side. Wait for the umpire to give the go-ahead. Interesting. Yeah, let's say that. Wonder what the clipboard wants to happen next. Sergeant Bennett asks quietly, as if one on cue. Field umpire clears his throat. All right, Lieutenant. The enemy squad is in that house down there, he says, and ignores Bennett as he points. You can hear the clockwork tick of his watch. Faint but steady. Deploy your men and take them under fire. And remember, this exercise is timed. Squad versus squad, even numbers. This will be a tough one. You shouldn't refight the last one. This will be a tough one. Oh, I forgot to go here. Even odds, Sergeant Bennett remarks. There was a lot of that in the last war. Original description for this photo. This is how the modern cowboy armed semi-automatic Garand rifle will appear when he shows his firepower to an enemy. The terrible destructiveness of modern weapons turned World War I into a bloody hopeless war of stalemate and attrition. Officers who had spent their whole careers preaching the decisiveness of attack and assault now favored the defense. Movement in the trees. A dozen men and more in olive drab, working their way closer. These are your men, sweaty and dusted from the obstacle course. And at the back is Sergeant Grant, urging the stragglers along. They look tired. Maybe we should wait. No rest for the wicked, not in this army. The reinforcing squads. Let's wait. Favor the man or favor the mission? Let's favor the man. Without men, there's no mission. Sure, Lieutenant. Sergeant Bennett says. They'll always act dog-tired after a little sweat, looking fresh and sweet, as bad as volunteering for anything. Give them a good reason to move, and Grant will get them in gear. I trained him myself. The team is together again, not precisely formed up in best position. While you ponder that fact, the Empire's watch continues to tick. Let's bolster their spirits, Sergeant Bennett says. That always boosts morale. So it doesn't last for long, but maybe it will be just long enough for what comes next. Reachable hexes without Bolster, reachable hexes with Bolster. Yeah, so we can move further down. Okay. The white edge, yeah. Oh, you can pause the video by clicking, that's cool.
Wise comment that morale is the backbone of your company's performance? Well, what do you think the role of leadership is then? Of course, it's to manage that morale. Let's look at your tools. One of them is Bolster. So here we have a good order unit. And if we were to attack, it'd be 50-50 on attack. It moves 3 squares. It has 70% morale check. But let's bolster it. A lot more movement. Hey, it's going to pass that morale check. And look at the firefight. Bolster enhances an already good unit so it is significantly more effective, especially for firefights. The experience and the trust of the leader comes to bear. Don't make the mistake, however, of thinking of Bolster as sort of a poor man's rally, rally for one action. I've moved the leader down to this shaken squad, half morale, and I'm thinking, well, it's pretty poor for a firefight right now. Maybe I'll bolster it and it'll be fine. Well, there's some improvement. If you studied this, you'd see the suppress predictions are a little bit better, but you're still going to lose initiative. It's not a rally. If you want a unit with shaken or below morale to improve, rally. Rally, by contrast, fully restores morale for the long term. Of course, it does take a turn to do, so you'll have to pick the time and place for when you rally, for when you bolster, or for when you orchestrate your platoon and company to be effective all at once, rather than dribble in an attack on the enemy.
Really cool where it says here for when you lead. Why bolster? Firefights 50-50. Win without bolster. Full orders move normal. Will pass most morale checks. Better than good morale. Firefight, your leadership increases chance to win initiative, suppressing enemy before they can fire back. You succeed far more on assaults. When increased. Maybe flank. You pass most morale checks, most useful on already good morale. Bolster order will provide a boost to the morale of a unit until that unit moves, shoots, or does anything else that has the unit expand in order. Unlike rally, this does not remove suppression, but a bolster can boost the unit's maximum morale beyond its maximum. Bolster greatly increases initiative in a firefight and the chance to initiate an assault. Bolster the leader and the squad, so let's select them. Both are selected. We'll move further, shoot better, and fight harder. Bolstering consumes 1 leader order. This is Bolster. Here we go. We are ready, Sergeant, Bennett says. Where to, Lieutenant? Should we have Grant march down or go ahead? Time to make a decision. There are a lot of things you might want to order, but there's never enough time for the men to carry those out. Nonetheless, you prepare to do what you can. Pausing squads. Okay, you have 3 squads and only so many orders. Left click to select all units in a hex. Left click a specific unit again to select only that unit. You may also select a lone squad to activate it. Even if a leader is not grouped, orders will still be consumed. Attach the leader, then move it here and rally the squad. I think I want to move down without the leader, to be honest. And attack this, or get into here. Just the squad. It's an enemy held position. They are there, Sergeant Bennett says as your men pass the word that they've sighted movement in the house. Those damn walls give them better cover than anything we've got. Nearby the Empire clipboard makes a note, a lengthy one. Okay, let's prepare to open fire. This is candidates for infantry rifle team training at Fort Benning. Give the men some direction and the Yams will take notes, Sergeant Bennett says, as your men prepare to place the revealed enemy under their crosshairs. Every little bit helps us to build up our fire against the enemy before they do the same to us. Left-click to select the unit you want to have open fire, then right-click the enemy. They actually ran forward, so they didn't have like a counter fire or anything. I definitely want to shoot with them. They are cowering. Did bolster them already. I think we are flanking. Good. I know the Empire was pushing us forward, but our squad just opened fire without a plan, Sergeant Bennett says. I bet we could get as good as the Jerrys if we have time to. Unsupervised and poorly invigorated fire likely resulted in little suppression. Field Empire remarks and writes something sharply in the margin of his clipboard shield. Whistles blow. The exercise halts as the umpires get to work figuring out the damage to the enemy. Sergeant Bennett waits quietly beside you. Halt the exercise. The field umpire barks formally and signs the bottom of the page with a flourish. Lieutenant, you pushed ahead and did not form up your platoon prior to the attack. This would have resulted in some of your men being killed and additional time wasted while you regrouped for a proper assault against a now prepared enemy. But speed was of the essence. It would have taken too long to prepare the platoon. Preparation saves lives, and without soldiers your platoon could accomplish nothing. Field umpire remarks, we will reset the exercise and try again with a few changes. What we can do, wait, what were my marks today? We did all this, and for what? Or see to the man. Let's go for that. The umpire is in charge here and of higher rank. There's no point in arguing or protesting, especially not when the platoon needs to be organized. Sergeant Bennett falls you in as you head back to your platoon, no matter what you choose. The Dome was going to find fault. Sergeant Bennett says, like being married, without the fun parts. Hell, I bet getting something wrong was the point of the lesson. Just once got ahead, the others was a bold choice too. Can't deny that, and if it had been an ambush, well, you'd be saving lives. There was no good answer? Thought I'd done everything right. That sounds true. There was no good answer? You learn more from failure than success, Lieutenant. Sergeant Bennett says, but you only had to learn this lesson once, not teach it 100 times. What exactly is it I'm supposed to learn? War will be a hell of a thing. How to lead, Sergeant Bennett replies, not just when things are going well either. Maybe that's why there was no good answer here, because there might not be one over there. It is a lot to take in. You will have to keep your eyes and ears open. Press this button to access our field manual, the Bocopedia, which will explain gameplay details, interface elements, and hotkeys. Game saved. Draw. Loyalty earns 7. Field problem reset. And Umpire also draw. Oh, I took a screenshot and... No one out of action, sir. Exit before story continues. Or continue with story. Yeah, let's actually... that's a good exit point now for this video because it's already 1 hour. Stay tuned for the next one and let's see how I do there. But I think a draw, having everyone a bit happy, is not the worst outcome. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Until then, bye for now.